everybody, I'm here doing factored form for quadratics. So we are looking at finding the main components of how to graph a quadratic. So I have these laid out and we're going to talk about how we're going to solve each of these things in order to get what we need to accomplish in order to graph our quadratic. So we're going to start off with the x-intercepts, which I've already written out for us because it's pretty relatively easy. All you do is set up your binomials and set them equal to 0 because we're going to use the zero product rule in order to find those numbers out. We're going to graph those 2 points. I'm going to show you the axis of symmetry a couple of different ways. I'm going to just show you the easy way really so that you don't have to worry about yet another formula to have to remember. And then we'll find out the vertex and then follow that up with the y-intercept as we're graphing all of the pieces. So as you can see, I already set up my binomials, both of them set up equal to 0. Don't really need to show you all this work because hopefully at this point you should be able to do that part without having to do anything other than in your head. So we know now that our x-intercepts are going to be at -3 and a +1. So on my graph, I'm just going to go over here and we see that this is 0, 0. And so we're going to go over to -3. So 1, 2, 3, put a dot right there. And then we'll go back over to 0 and we want to go to a +1 because that is what our other axis intercept is. So we know that our graph is going to be at those 2 points where they are the roots or the zeros or the x-intercepts, whatever you'd like to call them. So now that I have that, we can do our axis of symmetry, which is just minus the b divided by 2 times the a coordinates in these situations. Now, obviously, you can do this however you really want because there is an a value that is, there's not one there, so it's 1. We know that it's going to be a U-shaped graph when we're graphing it. What I like to do is really just keep it simple. If you don't remember the formula or you don't have it set up the right way, whatever it may be, what you can do is just simply kind of go and find the halfway point between these 2 points. So basically, if I go over 1 here, I go 1 over here, I go 1 over here, I meet right here in that -1 value. So this is going to be my axis of symmetry right here. Now again, obviously there is a formula. If you want to follow it, you may. But I just think it's a little easier for people to just visually be able to see it because you probably don't even need to do the math in order to figure it out most of the time. So we know that our axis of symmetry on this one is going to be -1. So our x minus is equal to -1. And that's the AOS, as I like to call it, the axis of symmetry. So now that I have the axis of symmetry, my next step is going to be to find the vertex. So we know the vertex point for x because we know where the axis of symmetry is. So that means that that is the x coordinate for our axis, for our vertex. So what I'm going to do in order to find out the other point of the vertex, which is the y coordinate, I'm just going to go back up here to this equation right here, and I'm just going to solve for y. So I'm going to take this -1, pop it in here, as well as right here, and we're going to figure out what y is. So we're going to substitute in -1, where x is, and we're going to put that there. We're going to do it over here as well. So -1 minus 1. And we're going to go ahead and just solve. -1 plus 3 is a 2. And then here, -1 and -1 is a -2. And that means that my y coordinate for the vertex is at a -4. So we have -1 for my x coordinate for the axis of symmetry. And that -4 for the y coordinate. So that vertex is going to be graphed at -1, -4. So we're going to go back over here to the graph. We're going to put that dot right there at -1, -4. So we're going to go down right here, 1, 2, 3, and -4 right there. So I could really just draw this right now, but I do want to find the y-intercept. In order for me to find the y-intercept, x would have to be 0 in order to find that point out. So what I'm going to do is use this equation yet again. But this time we're going to solve for y when x is 0. So I'm going to plug in 0 for both of those x coordinates. And we're going to solve for that. Y is equal to 0 plus 3, which is 3. And 0 minus 1, which is -1, which means that my y-intercept is at -3. I'm not sure why I just put that in parentheses, but that is it. So this is your y-intercept right here, which means your y-intercept point is going to be at 0, -3. And then we can graph that point over here. and connect all of your dots, and you've got yourself a quadratic. And if you want more questions like these, you may find them on my Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and YouWantAlgebra. Check all of these out under the quadratic functions section. Please let me know if you like these videos or you have any comments, you want to share, like all those things, and hit me up with some more questions.